Right, Bev, ready to go live?
Yeah, ready. I think.
Perfect. Sure?
Yeah,
No.
go for it.
Hey, good evening. I'm Andy.
And I'm Debs.
Stay tuned.
It's Codes of the Unknown.
Good evening.
Evening.
I don't know why that's changed, but I'll swat around in a minute. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Codes of the Unknown, or the 12th dimension, whatever you want to know it as. So tonight we have, I'm going to try and pronounce his surname, Shawn Schildgen.
Children.
Schildgen, yes.
Schildgen. Right, so it's a silent S.
Shawn from Long Island.
Yeah.
That'll do.
Yeah, from across the pond. So, yeah. So he's going to be talking about witchcraft and paranormal. I'll do a little introduction, and then we'll get Shawn to tell you a little bit about himself. So he's a practicing Wiccan and a paranormal investigator, and he has the same setup rig as what I've got, same camera, same handle. So we're both doing something right somewhere.
Yeah.
So we'll go straight into it. So where are you from, and how long have you been doing the Wiccan and the investigating?
All right, so I am in Long Island, but I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. I've been doing Wicca for about 35 years. In fact, this is the book. I don't know if you can see it, but that's the book that got into it.
Yeah.
I was an avid reader, and I went to a bookstore, and I saw this book, and I said, you know what? Let me pick it up. And it's pretty funny, the reason why I got into it. I lived in a house that was haunted.
Yeah.
And because the house is haunted, it made me think, well, you know, maybe this will help. But I read it, and oddly enough, it was a lot more than just, well, it actually didn't help me in that respect, but it did help me discover something that I thought that I really jived with, as I said earlier. And it was an eye opener for me, you know.
Yeah.
And again, you know, yes, I looked into other things. I really wasn't soul searching. It was just something that I thought was cool, and I liked it.
Yeah.
And the paranormal investigating, I've probably been doing that for about 27 years. I started that when I first got a computer, and that was back in the 90s. I typed in ghost, and then all of these like clubs for ghost hunting. It wasn't called ghost hunting, but it was just ghost clubs
Groups.
and groups, and that's kind of what got me into it. I had a girlfriend at the time who was a photographer, so we would go to graveyards and try to find orbs and stuff like that. But, and it was different. It's not like today. Today is so much cheaper. It's so much easier. Because back in those days in the 90s, they didn't have digital cameras. You had to get 400 speed film. You had to get a bright flash, and you had to get that film developed. And you only had 25 or 30 shots to take, and you're done for the evening unless you put another roll in. And after a while, when I saw a lot of nothing, just a lot of tombstones and things like that, it was like, well, I'm going to put this down for a little bit. And then when the digital cameras came out, I got really excited. I jumped back into it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the phenomena of taps happened, and everybody and their grandmother got involved with it. And
well, they're not that far from you, are they?
No, they're in Rhode Island, right?
Yeah,
Rhode Island.
Because when I come over to America, we went through Rhode Island. We actually drove down. There's one of the roads that we went down. There's a taps van parked up on someone's driveway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So tempted to knock on the door, but that'll be
That's funny. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, a lot of that. I don't know what's going on in the West Coast, but I could say on the East Coast, they're really big on that. A lot of the shows are coming from people that are from the East Coast. At least the shows that are out here, like Taps and the Holzer Files. Alexandra Holzer. I know her. She was a friend of mine. We actually did a sizzle reel together.
Right.
That I put together. And I don't know. I don't really know what. I mean, it is a lot of fun to go out and look for spirits on one hand, but on the other hand, it's kind of boring too. If nothing's actually going on, then you're just walking around in the dark, talking to yourself. But it can be a lot of fun when things do happen. And I think, well, so I think it can be dangerous too if you go into like abandoned homes and you see a lot of, there could be homeless people in there or something. So that's not a lot of fun either. I was a real estate agent, and I went into homes that were not abandoned but taken by the bank.
Yes.
And, I've come across some pretty interesting things just opening the door.
Wow.
And it was ghosts, but it wasn't homeless people. But there was another house that was I couldn't even go into, that was taken by the bank, and a homeless person was living in there, and he was very violent apparently. So they wouldn't allow me to go over there. So paranormal investigators, beware! Don't just do anything. Yeah.
Cool.
So we have the same setup. I have the Sony too. How do you like your Sony?
Well, I've only really used it once because I was trying to find a decent bargain on Facebook. Yeah. So that camera that you've got, I only paid probably equivalent to $15.
Oh wow!
It cost me more for each of the IR lights. I got them on Amazon. They'd work out about $22 each. Wow. But it seems really good. Once I eventually found out how to transfer it from the camera to the computer, and then you have to change it from a VOB file to a whatever, usually MP4 or an AVI file or something like that. Right. I managed to do that, but then it didn't pick the sound. It was just visual. But then when I went back on the computer after I'd uploaded it onto YouTube, it had done the sound as a separate audio file. I didn't realise till afterwards, so I thought, I'll know for next time, and then I'll just put it together. So messed it up, but it was good. It was a lot better than I expected it because you've only got a little tiny screen on that camera
Yeah.
because it's literally the size of your hand.
Right.
So, and then when you're watching it on a bigger screen, you can see so much more detail.
Yeah.
I was impressed. For something that's like 15 years old, for a digital camera that's 15 years old, it's really good quality.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you don't have a problem finding the discs?
Them discs are fine, but I got another camera. I don't know where I've put it, and that is I've lost it. Sorry, 1 second. I did it. So I got this one.
Oh yeah.
So this is a Hitachi. I'll just show you quickly. Don't want to take up too much of your time. And they're the discs. So they're double-sided. These are virtually impossible to get hold of. The double-sided DVD RWs. So they come out of here.
Yeah.
And you can load them onto the computer. But I got 2 of them with this. I've got 4 batteries, and that was about $8. And that was on Facebook as well. So
I went to something like battery.com or something, and I found a battery that's like this big. And it can go for over an hour.
Yeah. It's so the batteries that you get with that one.
Like like that. There you go.
So I've got 4 of them.
Oh.
So back they're 27. They're like $22, $23 each, and I got 4 of them.
Oh, you'll be recording all night.
Yeah. So
nothing's getting past you.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna do some tomorrow night. Just do some sky watching with it. See if I pick anything up.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that you say that. Yeah. Do you have like UFOs that you've come across or anything like that? Right. I know this is like you're supposed to be asking me questions.
I know. Yeah.
I actually live like about a mile away from where hello. A UFO crashed.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. South Haven Park. There was a UFO in there. And I could even talk about some UFO stories too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever you want to go with, it's entirely.
All right, you know what? Let's just talk. How about that?
Yeah.
Let's just talk.
Yeah. Well, there's I'll just tell you quickly. I don't want to take too much of that. There's a small. It's an old. It's an air base. I think it was. There's a few hangars and that on there, but it's turned more into a business park now. There's a lot of units and companies and all that on there, but they still use it. They do rallies and that for cars, and they have the odd air show and what have you on there. And we've seen a few things flying over, but that shuts at. You use it for light aircraft, so obviously they don't use it after dark. It closes like 5, 6 o'clock. But I've seen stuff going over, and it's like it's just weird. It's not a commercial plane or anything like that, but I've not had a good enough camera to film it. Even with my phone, I'll try and zoom in, and you can't see anything.
Yeah. I came across that once.
Yeah.
That I only had my phone, and what had happened was I was out east in wine country out here in Long Island, and there was this farm and it had buffaloes there, and I was showing my kids. I was like, "Here, buffalo," and I was looking down towards the south, and I saw these giant like tops, and I thought they were water towers, and they were scattered probably about maybe 2 miles apart. And then the more I looked at it, I noticed it actually wasn't connected to anything. They were floating in the air. And I said, "Oh my God, no way." And my wife happened to be a little angry at the time. So I wasn't able to go over there and investigate it, but I really, really wanted to.
Yeah.
I wanted to go underneath it and just take a look, But it's one of those that people, and this isn't broad daylight. It wasn't, in the middle of the night or anything weird like that. And it was one of those where you like, oh gosh, it looked like a top. I'll just say that because
Yeah.
I've seen a few of those on YouTube or on TikTok or something like that, where somebody's recording it and it's like, look, it's right here. You can't hear anything; it's just there. And
Yeah.
it's so funny that I've even posted something locally and said, did anybody else see that? And nobody had gotten back to me on that, unfortunately.
No.
Oh, right.
And it's so it's in plain sight. I just picked up on it, and that's usually the best place to hide things.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
right in front of you. And I
Yeah.
guess
Yep.
that's why they're a higher intelligence than we are.
Exactly.
Definitely.
It's because we don't look up all the time, innit? We're so busy looking down at phones or
I was going to
doing.
say we're too busy doing that.
Yeah.
That's
So,
Yep.
that's true. I was laying in the backyard one time, and again, like I said, I'm only like a mile away from that plane. I mean, not plane, but UFO crash.
Yeah.
And I'm just staring at the sky. It's a cloudy day, and I saw the stereotypical UFO just floating across the sky. The little silver guys.
yeah.
Said, no way. And I thought maybe it was. I mean, it was going too fast for a jet.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. Am I echoing? No.
No, you're all right.
Okay.
And I'm looking at, and it went into this big cloud bank.
Yep.
And it wasn't a windy day or anything, but eventually, because I'm not too far from the water, I'm probably about 100 feet.
Yeah.
And it just, the whole cloud, after maybe 20 or 30 minutes, the whole cloud just started floating towards the water and out to the ocean. I said, wow, look at that. Guess what I just saw? I just saw a UFO. And then one time I was laying out and I was looking at my tree, and this is the craziest thing. And I have a lot of crazy stories. Unfortunately, they're all my stories, and I can't prove any of them. But
none of us can.
I'll just let you hear them, and you decide for yourself. There was a tree. It's still there. And I saw this thing. It looked like a bolt of lightning that hit it, but it didn't look like the kind of lightning that you see in a movie or what you see with your naked eye. It looked like a really bad movie bolt of lightning. Like it had the
like a B movie,
and it just kind of like appeared, and then it like a little smoke came and it disappeared, and some smoke came out of it, and this like circle that looked like a reticle, the slope, the little cross, in a circle, and it just slowly, let me do it this way, slowly just moved across just like that, and it just went right over my head, and I was about to poke it with a stick, but something just said, don't do it. And sure enough, man, that thing just went over my head and just off, and I don't know where it went. But that was the craziest thing. I wonder what that was, And I have like professor friends that I can talk to about things like that, but they don't like to do
it. There's all sorts of strange stuff out there.
Yeah. I remember we used to hear, or I used to hear, well, we all heard a lot of like I don't know, like crazy sounds, like if you were to say like wild animals or something, and all we have is deer, I mean, we don't have anything crazy, and screams and shrieks and things like that, but they don't do that anymore. That's been like, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. Very strange.
Yeah, very.
That is very odd.
It is. So, can I ask, how did it all start? What was the very first thing that you sort of did?
All right. So, how it all started. Well, we'll talk about, I guess, with witchcraft, it really was this.
Yeah.
But it even goes further back. When I was in maybe third grade, there was this thing where, now this is back in the 70s. So, New Age and out-of-body experiences and things like that was like a big thing. I never got into that because it was just too difficult to understand. It was very esoterical. I couldn't figure out what the heck they were talking about without a dictionary at hand. I didn't have Google at the time.
No.
And so this girl says, I'm going to do an experiment with class, and the teacher approved. So we all stood up, and it was this thing where she took a card, and it was a playing card, and we had to guess if it was red or if it was black.
Yeah.
So I ended up being the last one standing. And then this little girl, Annie Arif, made fun of me. And she said, well, it's too bad you can't do that with your schoolwork. And I said, be quiet. And then I had to do one more test. And the test was to figure out the suit.
Right.
So is it clubs? Is it spade? Is it, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And I botched it. But it was very interesting that I was able to do that and be able to, pull it off. I mean, heck, it's probably a coincidence, but still it was something that geared me towards, the metaphysical, if you will.
Yeah.
So, and with the paranormal, well, I actually lived in a house that was haunted. It wasn't for sale haunted house, but it was a house that my parents bought. And there was like a backstory to it where every door in the house, whoever originally owned it, had put a lock on it. Every single door, every closets, everything.
Wow.
And there was also there was an alarm and a light on the 5th step. So if you were to walk up the steps, it was a loose board. And this is back in I think it was built in the 40s or 30s. And it was loose. So it would, whatever patrol car was in the area would see that light, and then they would come and, help them out.
Right.
All right. So, but that was a weird story. It wasn't, it really had very little to do with the hauntings. What happened was, the woman that we bought it from was about 90 years old.
Yeah.
And her brother was helping her sell the house because it was way too big for her. It was a 3-bedroom Spanish style home. And she was telling stories about, her life there. And she spent a lot of time, basically her whole adulthood is in this house with her husband. And they didn't have children, but they had monkeys.
Right.
And she's talking about that, and she was talking about how her husband would go on the roof, and he really loved astronomy, and he would go up on the roof with his telescope and take a look around and whatever, look at the constellations and such. So that was fine. Oh, and he ended up dying in the house. So that was fine, whatever. We ended up moving there. We were there probably a year, and we've heard walking on the roof. We got a dog, and the dog would always stare at the ceilings.
Yeah.
And we just chalked it up as it's him. We left it at that. And then we had so one night. Now, California is known for earthquakes.
Yeah.
And in the 70s, we couldn't turn on TV and it will have, earthquake hit, on the news or anything like that. So what we had to do was call the police. And one night, my father and I were sitting in the den, and my mom comes running down the stairs, and she says, "There's an earthquake." And we were like, "No, there was no earthquake." And she said it must have been an earthquake because the room was shaking, the walls were shaking, the paintings were bouncing off the wall.
Yeah.
And they're big paintings. I mean, I don't know if you could see, but that's a big painting. And so it took a lot of effort for it to happen. And she was very, ecstatic about it. So she called the police and found out that there wasn't an earthquake. Probably about a week later,
Right.
that woman's father, the woman that we bought it from, not her father, her brother, called us because it was something to do with settling the deal.
Yeah.
Right.
And it turns out she died that night. And here's the fun part. Then we found out through somebody else that her brother actually pushed her out because he had a gambling debt. I swear I'm not making this up. I know it's a movie. Sounds like a movie, but he had a gambling debt. So he pushed her out so he can manage her finances and use that money for whatever. And then put her. Now imagine being in a big home and you've been there for all your life, and he puts her in a trailer. And she was very angry with us for pushing her out. And she was very angry at the fact that she was living in this trailer. And I totally see where she's coming from. But the malevolent spirit that lived there, we blame her. And I didn't know what being scratched was or any of that. That stuff didn't even exist. I mean, it did, but it wasn't as apparent as it is today.
Yeah.
I always thought that I was playing around in the bushes and I got, scrapes because it was a burning feeling. It just burns. It's not like those crazies that you have in your group. And they disappear and then they come back with like scratches on their arms, like, oh, look at that. It's not like it's the real thing. It's a burning sensation. And it really sizzles for a while. So I had that, and that happened a lot, actually. Yeah. And I went to a private school, and there are a lot of events that came, like walking around, footsteps. I got pinned back a few times, things like that. But I'm just touching on the good stuff. So I went to a private school, and one of my friends was his father was a stuntman.
Right.
And he would hire people to double for him, not for him, but for, the actors.
Yeah.
And it was, any age. And I said, man, I want to be a stuntman. I want to do this. So I would go home after school and I would practice rolling down the stairs like a stuntman, right?
Yeah.
And one day I did it. And I guess I must have made them angry, or her or somebody. All I hear, and it's not in my ear, it's in my head, and it's like a vibration, and it says, they said, you're going to die. You're going to die now. And I'm looking at the landing at the bottom, and there's 18 stairs. I was probably about 15 up.
Yeah.
And I'm going this direction towards it. And I'm already leaning forward. And more words started happening, like, because I was also trying to calculate in my head, well, I'm just going to roll the right, or, whatever. Yeah. I'm going to try to get out of this death thing. And then more words were like, you're going to break your arm. We're going to get you. Nevertheless, they're going to hurt.
Yeah.
And then as I'm totally leaning forward like so, I stopped. Yes. I stopped, like no hands holding me, nothing like that. I just literally stopped. And then I just sat down, and I didn't do it for the rest of the day. I behaved. But that was like the craziest thing ever. And,
wow.
That's and then there were other, like, all sorts of other incidents that happened during that time. And that's why I picked up this awesome book that told me nothing about how to get rid of these ghosts, but it did open me up to a different world, and it helped me understand a lot of things intuitively.
Yeah.
And that's what I really love about blending witchcraft with, I say witchcraft, being a practitioner with Paranormal Investigator, because with that, there's a lot of things that you learn on both sides of the fence. Paranormal investigating is more physical. We use gadgets to interact with spirit.
Yeah.
Being a practitioner can also, you can connect in different ways. You're more alert. There's a lot of things that have happened to me as a paranormal investigator that I've learned. I've learned to avoid now.
Yes.
Because I've had like ghosts like attached to me and just drain me, and I would be very tired and very, very ill for at least 2 or 3 days.
Right.
And it happened twice. And so, now I can, and I can feel it. I can feel it when they're doing it. They actually, it's kind of like a hum, if you will, and it's just kind of vibrating on you. Can you see my handshake? Look at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can feel that, and it's always usually behind you. For some reason, they're always like popping up behind you. So another good trick is to always like lean against a wall, or if you're in the woods, stay against a tree. Just always keep your back towards something, because they always like love to sneak up behind you. For whatever reason. And as a practitioner, you need to understand how to like just raise up your energy, your chi. Does that make sense?
Your vibration.
Yeah,
it's your vibration. Exactly. That's good. And you can control that situation. You can tell them back off. And it works. And a lot of people who don't know that sometimes get affected by it.
Yes.
So that's where that really comes in handy. And after I take this sip, I'll tell you about a situation that happened to me once, and this is more witch related.
Right. Yeah.
Give me one second, please. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Any questions, folks? Get them put in the comments, and we can flag them up.
Yeah, you got half an hour. Chop, chop.
Chop, chop. Right, go on then, Shawn.
Yeah, Joe, carry on.
All right. So I worked at a cafeteria. I was a chef in a corporate cafeteria.
Yeah.
And I'm shuffling tarot cards. Sorry.
It's all right.
It's just keeps me preoccupied. So every morning I would drive to work, and it was about an hour, but I would sit in my car and just kind of open up. And you understand what I mean by open up, where you're it's a meditation.
Yes.
And I do a lot of different types of different forms of meditation. A really good form of meditation, if you want to ever open up as a medium or a psychic or anything like that. And a lot of people don't like them, but I like them. Was John Edwards. Developing your psychic
ability, was it?
Something like that. It's developing your psychic intuition or something like that.
Yeah.
But what he's doing is that he's putting you through this form of self-hypnosis.
Yes.
And this self-hypnosis is actually what helps you open up.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
And I was at the cafeteria, and I'm talking to the secretary of the president of the building.
Yeah.
And she's the kind of person, she's a very nice lady, and she's the kind of person that when she talks, she has a tendency of talking very low. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever met any of these people where they're having a normal conversation with you, and then as they're talking, their voice just gets lower and lower.
Yeah.
And they're talking, and you're like, "What? I can't hear you. What happened? Are you on mute?
Please speak up.
What happened here?" So basically, I was already open. I was very focused, and this is where I learned something very interesting. As I'm trying to read her lips because I'm too much of a gentleman to say, "A," you know.
Speak up.
Yeah, speak up. Um, I was just, reading her lips, and I could see like the lines in her teeth. And I know that sounds crazy, but like if you took well, anyway, I was just looking at, and I noticed that. And
Yeah.
I'm staring at her like, wow, what is that? And all of a sudden, when you take a laser beam and
Yeah.
you kick up some smoke and you have that smoky laser beam thing
Yeah.
going on, right? So I saw this, and I saw this in front of me, and I'm looking at her. I'm looking at this, and it's relatively transparent. I can see through this and see her, and she's chatting away. I have no idea what she's talking about, but all this lasted about like seconds, but
Yeah.
it felt forever.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I started becoming engulfed with what felt like sitting in a hot tub. It was just this warm embracement, and it filled me up right here, like around my bread box,
Yeah.
between the chest. And I'm like, wow, this is really nice. And I thought I'm just like picking up on something, as a psychic or whatever, as a medium or whatever. So I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And as it's going, it's just kind of pushing into me.
Yeah.
Suddenly, like a card on my right side, and it's kind of like did one of these things. And it was like a little TV.
Yeah.
And there was a man, and he was very, very thin.
Yeah.
He was in a hospital bed. He had tubes in his arms. His eyes were dark. His hair was black. He was very grayish looking, and he's like waving his hands, and he's totally ticked off about something.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, look at that. What's this? I can't hear anything. I can only see it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this warmth that's coming in is beginning to pull out.
Right.
So doing this kind of thing with me. And it's starting to hurt. And I said, what the hell is this? And I said, no. Out. So what was going on there was that this guy was trying to, get in.
Yeah.
And I spoke to her about, I sat down. Every time an event like that happens, it takes me a while. I don't just like, hey, guess what happened? No, I sit down for like, it could even take a day or two.
Yeah.
I really want to mull it over before I start telling people about it. And I sat down in my office, and I'm just thinking about it. And I went back and I told her, I said, listen, this is what happened. And she says, oh my God, it's so crazy that you say that. Because remember, I wasn't here on Thursday or Friday. I said, yeah, that's right. You weren't. Because this was on a Monday.
Yeah.
Her uncle died. And he was very upset the fact that he died. I described him. She said, that's totally him. And I said, wow, this is a crazy. Not only the fact that, I picked up on it, but the fact the guy was trying to possess me and really pick me up. But, it is one thing that you have to be careful of when you do practice, opening up and being a practitioner. You got to know how to, close the door. And I've met other people who have gone there. They've come to me for help. And I said, listen, you just got to stop playing with it. And that's what really made me geared towards more of the paranormal than, or paranormal investigating than focusing solely on witchcraft. Because two things. One was the, is it real or am I making it up in my head? When you see the visions and stuff, I mean, you get signs. I get sick when I see something that I know it's going to happen or it's real. It comes to me as like something black, like a black piece of paper, and everything is black. And then there's like a little tiny rip, and then in that rip behind it is like this high definition image.
Right. Yeah.
And so I, that's when I know it's for a fact. But when I start getting a lot of random stuff, I get a little nervous about that, and I'm thinking, this is too much, and I did get anxiety from playing with this too much. So I said, I did see around this time, I think Tapsit came out, and I was interested, I was intrigued. And what I enjoyed about it was that they went to a house. This is when the flashlight trick first came out. The flashlight trick where you loosen the flashlights, the end of it. It's only a particular flashlight. Not every flashlight does this, but I don't remember the name of the flashlight for whatever reason. But yeah, you loosen it up, and then the ghost will try to pick it up or grab it or wave a hand over it or something, and then the light will turn on.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, let me try that. And I did, and it worked. And and there was also another thing. I guess it was from this. Remember, there was a show, and it was on your side of the pond there. It was. I think I don't know why they went out. They were fun to watch. They were. It was a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
It was a woman. And
Most haunted.
Most haunted. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And with the psychic, the psychic who's like over the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But they did. That was the first time I ever saw. They were in Gettysburg, and that was the first time I ever saw an EVP come out of a radio.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, that's really cool. Let me try that. So anyhow, I kind of lost track here, but definitely, using those tools is, and when it comes to the flashlight trick, I've recorded voices of ghosts saying things that totally coincide with what is going on. So you can hear them say, I'm trying, just give me another chance. Let me do this. Okay. Don't grab it. Don't break it. And you hear all these things.
Yeah.
And so, is a lot of people like to debunk it and say that it doesn't work, but with the flashlight trick, it does work. In my world, it does. The only reason why people are skeptical about it is because the reflective lens, if you use it as a flashlight, it'll get hot.
Yeah.
And then when it does that, then it'll turn on and off by itself. But if you're using it just for ghosts and that kind of thing, you shouldn't have a problem with it at all. So.
Don't you find though that like different things work for different people? Some people can't get on with tarot cards, and other people can, and different kind of divination doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah. That's the problem with being a practitioner is. They call it witch envy, like what do you what do you know? Are you Gardner, or are you Alexandria, or are you and some people are good at some things and some people are good at others. My thing is mentalism. That's the only thing that I really find to be suitable for me. I have tarot cards, and I couldn't tell you anything. I have to read them. I've had these for years. I'm like, well, let me tell you what it is.
You see, I don't use them. I don't use them traditionally. I don't do spreads with them. I get somebody to pick 5 cards out after they've shuffled them, and then I sort of pick up things from the cards. I don't actually read them as they're supposed to be read.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of like I suppose it's a bit psychic.
And then you have a vision.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Huh. That's now there you go. So I don't have to read the book.
No.
I'll just do it your way.
Yeah. Give it a try. If it
everybody
works.
a lot of trouble.
It's always worked for me.
I think that's awesome. It's awesome. A lot of people need cards, and some
Yeah.
people need, you know, wands, and
A
other people
tool.
need athames, and
Yeah.
you know, I have them, but I've never been successful with using them.
No,
You
I
know,
haven't.
I think a form of mentalism is definitely the route to go.
Yeah.
I did do one thing that I thought was really interesting. There was I did this. I had the flashlight on, and what I did is I mentally pictured, because we all know of shadow people, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I pictured my hand as like a shadow person hand,
Yeah.
and I envisioned that, and I just kind of put my hand over in that direction, but I envisioned the hand grabbing it, and every single time, four times in a row,
Yeah.
it turned on right when I envisioned it closing on top of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, is there something to it? I believe there is. You
I
know,
would say so. Yeah.
I believe that we have a lot of untapped potential. You know,
Yeah.
I think everybody can do it. It just depends on how much time you want to spend on it, and how hard you try, and how much you believe in it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
spent a lot of time doing that.
Yeah.
That's why I got better and better at it. But
That's it.
I don't-
Practice makes perfect.
That's it. That's it.
Cool. Right. Next question then. So
Oh,
what led you into discovering witchcraft other than the book?
What came from the book, you mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're not led on from the book.
What kept it going? What kept it going for you?
Right. What kept it going? I'll tell you. This is a good one. So I was still working at this cafeteria, and there was this girl who was in accounting, I guess, and she was a customer, and we would talk, and she wasn't like, she was friendly enough, but she wasn't like open arms friendly. You know, she
Yeah.
was kind of standoffish a bit. So one day we were talking, and then I drove home, and there was like this one stretch of highway that, I don't know, I always get visions, you know, for whatever reason. Maybe that's where where my meditative frame of mind is peaking, I guess. I don't know. But nevertheless, I saw this thing where her uh it was related to her, and it was she was black, and she was like mulatto, you know, half and half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her, I saw this woman who was very light skinned sitting in a rocking chair. And then I saw this other woman who was dark skinned.
Yeah.
She was in the same rocking chair. And again, like when I talk to them, I mean, when I see them, I don't hear them. But
Yeah.
she did like a gesture, like, you know, like, you know, like that
Yeah.
to me. And I'm like, huh, that's weird. Let me talk to her next time I see her. So I see her the following day, or Monday, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And she actually came to me. Oh, no. That wasn't it. I told her the next day. I told her about it, and she was like, I don't have a rocking chair. I don't know what you're talking about, and left it at that. So I think maybe this will be a Friday, let's say.
Yeah.
So over the weekend, following Monday, she comes running over to the cafeteria. She's looking for me, and she says, guess what? I was in my mom's attic, and I was going through old pictures. My grandmother was a voodoo priestess, and that was the darker one, and the light skinned one was just her grandmother. She didn't have any background in that. And she did all this while she was sitting in their rocking chair. I was like, really? So from that point on, we became friends.
Yeah.
And she she would do exercises with me and that kind of thing, and I really appreciated it. And one exercise that I did, and this is an exercise that I still do, is I mentally think of numbers. I count, in my head, and I visualize the numbers as I'm counting. And that's very important, to actually visualize the number. And sometimes it could be in odd shapes or made out of clay or whatever, but it's still there.
The number. Yeah.
Very, very defined, put it that way. And ideally, you want to hold it as long as you can. And so I asked her, I said, what if I put a thought into your head? Would you like to try this? And she was like, yeah, cool. So we sat down at this table, and I sat across from her, and I said, I really need you to like clear your mind. Don't think of anything. And she did. And she started like shooting out numbers. I'm like, no, you're not listening to me. Just relax. It'll come to you. Just relax. And I'm thinking of the number. And it was number 3. And I'm thinking of the number 3. And I'm projecting it. As I'm thinking of the number, I'm projecting it towards her. I'm projecting and thinking it and pushing and pushing. And as I'm doing this, I'm looking at her, and I noticed that her hair was like, I could really see it was very defined.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, well, that's very strange. And then as I'm in this trance, she screamed, 3! And I said, oh my God. She said, oh my God, it was so clear. This is insane. I said, oh my God. It was like 1 billion volts of electricity just being yanked out of the socket. It was insane. But what was cool about it is it worked. And the trick is concentration.
Yes.
That's truly the trick.
Yeah.
You can move the world with concentration. Read a book. Yeah. Good. I swear it's good for you. So
I do that. Just quickly. It's always worked for me. I once heard this thing years ago that if you want to get up at a certain time, I mean, you can't do the half hours. You've got to do it on the hour. But if you tap your forehead the amount of times for the time you want to get up. So I've started now trying to do it, visualizing, like you said, the number. And I think of the number 7, and then it's there in front of me, and I kind of build it up. I have lights around it and things like that. And it always works. When I do it, it always works.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I like to do these little projects.
There's a lot of like little quirks that people can do that can really like enlighten their intuition. It really is. It's amazing. It really is. But
like you said, visualization is the key. You've got to. That's how you build it up in it to be there.
Yes, and definitely you got to really you got to want it.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, if you're expecting it to impress you, it won't.
No.
So if you really got to put 110% into it. If you're gonna go, you gotta go all the way.
Yeah.
And if you have friends, or if you want to start your own coven of sorts, by all means do so. As long as everybody's on the same track, that you can work all sorts of miracles. In New Mexico, they have witches that get together, and you hear of the ball of light, that follows, like those old stories. I'm walking home one day and there's this ball of light that was following me.
Yeah.
Well, they claim that the witches are capable of doing that. But if you have a circle of people, of course you can do. My God, just think of the things that you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, a solitary is if I can just duplicate myself, I would be very, very happy.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, just quickly, you're saying about a circle of people. When you do a seance, you sit in a circle.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff like paranormal investigating and like the witchcraft and that, where it's always in a circle.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd put that in.
It builds up the power as well, the amount of people.
Yeah, it makes a circuit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what. Yes.
Yeah,
definitely. Everything. Yeah, even in Tai Chi or anything like that. It's always like circular motions.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about Tai Chi. I watched the movie, You know, it was cool. I like the kung fu flicks.
Yeah.
But my district manager, I brought him in for somebody else. My district manager came in and he saw it and he says, "Oh, I practice Tai Chi." And I
Right.
said, "Really?" And he told me about it. And I said, "Wow, you know, being that, you know, I did all this other stuff, you know, I just almost got possessed. Now I'm learning about Tai Chi, you know, and Chi energy and that kind of thing, that there's a different name for it and what it is." So as he's telling me about it, I thought that was really cool. And then there was another guy who was from China that worked there. And he told me about it. And he told me stories like this one. There was a mercenary. Oh, God, I always say that. Missionary. There was a missionary.
Yeah, there's a difference.
I know. There is a huge difference in that, isn't there? There was a missionary that was in China, and he wanted to learn. Well, you know, in China, you do what the Chinese do, you know, like Rome.
Yeah.
Right. So he was doing Tai Chi, and he was practicing it, and he was there for about 10 or so years. And one day he was really getting into it. He was really like, you know, doing his motions and whatever, and really feeling it. And then he opened up his eyes, and there was a crowd of people all around him. And these people were like standing there just watching him. They start clapping.
Yeah.
And he's thinking, "Oh, well, thank you. You know, you really like my technique." And one guy said, "Oh, yeah. You know, your technique was nice, but we were impressed that you moved that pile of logs from there to there just with your chi." And I was like, "Really? This is a true story?" He says, "Yep, swear to God, it's a true story." I said, "Well, that's pretty impressive." I always thought that kind of thing would be, you know, we always thought of telekinesis, you know, where you move things with your mind. But I don't think it is really your mind that's doing it. I think it's, you know, your frequency or your energy, your chi, your spirit, that's actually expanding outside of your host, and you know, you're really doing it yourself, you know, in a more etherical way. So, like Elfin Lieb. Do you know that? Or am I just Elfin Lieb? You got to watch it. It's on YouTube.
Right.
It's an anime, and it's about this little girl named Lucy, and she has these like invisible hands that come out and tear people apart. It's really cool.
Oh, nice.
It's actually an amazing story. It's worth watch. It's worth the watch.
Right.
It's not for kids.
No.
Just the adults.
Yeah, only the adults.
I'll find out. I'll get the kids to watch it and let me know. Tell me what they think of it.
Yeah.
If you ever speak, if you ever speak,
there's a lot of nudity and sexual content in there too.
Oh, we won't bother them.
All right.
Ignore that last comment. Right. Should we go for a quick break now then?
Yeah, we'll have a break now.
Just short of the hour mark. So 4 minutes.
A lot of questions.
We've got a couple more to ask you from the list that we've got.
Yeah.
But we've got about 12 or 13 questions from the viewers.
Yes.
So we'll mix it up a bit, yeah?
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So sounds fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. You have 4 minutes and 8 seconds to do what you need to do.
Woohoo!
Are you mad?
Are we
sorry, Bob? Oh yeah, we'll still be here.
Oh, Mimi. Oh no. Okay.
Just an ad break.
Yeah. It's just so people can go and get a drink or use the bathroom or whatever. So.
Oh, I see. I see that you have a
comfort break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a overlay video, so you can do what you need to do. No one will see you.
All right. Well, actually, I just want some water.
Yeah.
I'd like to kind of touch on why we don't see ghosts. You know, and it's actually a very interesting theory that I have, but neuroscience kind of helps prove it. So maybe we can, touch on it.
Definitely.
How am I doing so far? Am I okay? I don't know.
Absolutely brilliant.
I'm all over the place. I feel like I'm all over the place. Oh, why did I even bother writing that stuff? It didn't even.
You know what though? The ones that are all over the place are the best ones.
Yeah, they are definitely.
100%. Right.
Go
You
do
got
your
4
stuff.
minutes, 8 seconds. Your marks. Get set.
Go.
eight, seven, six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And we're back.
And
There
we
we
are.
are. Very cool. Thanks
Thank
for the
you.
countdown.
Yeah, I had to put it on because
Yeah,
I had to late getting back.
Yeah.
I come back and I'll be
Blank
sat there
screen.
waiting.
Yeah.
you never know. You never know. You're in the
No.
bathroom. You're like, oh no.
10 seconds as loud as I can is, yeah.
Yeah. That'll do.
Hurdles up the stairs, put it that way. Right, so should we go to viewers' questions first?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can do.
Do you want a couple of them? Throw some of them at you?
that'd be
Well,
awesome.
yeah.
Cool. Right, so the first one, we'll put them on screen and read them out. There we go. It's from Umbra Man. What is Shawn's favourite practice in his work with Wicca?
Actually, candle magic. Candle magic. I don't know. I just jive better with it. It's you feel the warmth. It really gives you that presence. I use incense too. Fire, I guess. All around. It just puts you in that state of mind that you need to be in when you're evoking or anything, doing whatever it is that you want to do. I strongly felt that way my life changed was through that. Everything that you see around here was through a session with candle magic. At least that's what I believe. So, yep, definitely candle magic.
Brilliant.
Deb, do you want to do the next one?
Yep.
I can. Wait till I've just swapped me. There we go. Right.
Have you done it?
I've got it. There we go. D&B tabloid. Does Shawn do live stream rituals, and if so, when and where?
Oh, very cool. No, I don't. But I am thinking about doing a YouTube channel, which I really strongly believe would be a great channel for everybody. If you're a practitioner, I don't want to talk about, rosemary helps you think better, and things like that, or you need this kind of crystal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to talk about exercises and things that people need, and that's not out there, or nobody's, if it is, nobody's getting the right information. No. So I was really debating until just now that to go out and do that,
Really?
know people that are interested in doing that. So we'll come up with a name. We'll come up with a name by the time the show's over. Okay, now come on. You put the glasses on. Seriously.
Someone asked me to put them on just to see.
Twins.
I could go and get my New York hat, but mine's grey, not blue.
Honestly.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
It's like the Twilight Zone.
Synchronicity.
So you got one in all over the world.
Yeah. Right, next question, Andy.
Is from Josephine Weeks. What's the most interesting thing that's happened to you with Wicca?
Oh, definitely the possession. Oh, but no. Actually, here. The things you see. When you practice and you play with them, they will come. And I did do a ritual once in my room. I did something. This was before I met my wife.
Yeah.
I had a mirror, and then I put candles around me, to set the mood. But basically, my mom had passed away, and I was trying to communicate with her. I didn't see her, but I saw something, and it started to come, and I just, I don't know, I cheesed. I was like, I can't do this. Sorry, I'm out. Turn on the lights. It was a little too much. It was a little too scary. It's weird when you see them. It's weird when you see. We have like a ghost cat that's around here.
Oh.
And sometimes, like out of nowhere, you pick up like a blanket, and then you see it like appear, and then it runs, and it fades out. It's sometimes it's not so bad. I'll tell you, Wiccan related. I don't know why, but one time I was standing like right over behind me, and I noticed that this is my backyard over here, and I have a window here and some French doors and whatnot. And I saw this bird coming, and I just saw this bird. And I'm like, why am I so, intrigued by this bird? And the bird came and flew through the wall and out that wall and through the window. And it was like a shadow bird, but I would never have seen that as Paranormal Investigator. You know what I
No.
mean?
Yeah.
So I know that sounds crazy, and I swear to God, I don't take drugs or anything like that. It's just that's just stuff that you see.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's why I had to tone it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So man, who needs drugs when when you see things like that?
Oh.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Can I just ask one quick
Party.
question? Is
All
it
right,
easy to get into, or is it a long process?
what's that?
Into Wiccan.
The mentalism.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, again, it all depends on you.
yeah,
If you're going to have this impress me attitude, it's not going to work.
yeah,
But if you believe heartedly in it, yes, it'll go, and it'll go fast.
Yeah.
It can grow and grow fast. But it does take some time, and then there's a lot of hiccups on the way. You know, things that you experience, things that
Yeah.
happen. Don't look into everything. You know, just because a butterfly landed on your hat doesn't mean it's your grandmother. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
try to be a little bit more open-minded than that.
yeah,
But it does, it will happen. You know, but you have to believe that, and it's not a form of psychosis where you're convincing yourself that things are happening. This is really happening. And I'm really like, you tell me something, I'm like, well, okay, you know, that's your story. I didn't see it, you know, unless I see it. I'm not telling you things that I've read out of books. I'm telling you things that I've actually physically experienced.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, I get no pleasure out of lying to people.
No.
You know, what has happened to me is, you know, just what I'm telling you. You know, and I, it's as real as all of us sitting here right now.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
So, will it happen? Absolutely. If you you know, focus on it. If you focus and you put all your attention into it, definitely it will.
Yeah.
So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah.
There's some forms of Wicca in there where they say you have to do 101 days practicing before you can call yourself a Wiccan, and I don't think it's as regimented as that. I think you just fall into it and then practice from that.
Yeah. You'll find out what works and what doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
You know, everything, you know, everything is tools. You know, like the wands and the anthimays and crystals and all that stuff. All it is just a way for you to develop your energy and your vibration and frequencies and
Well, look,
expand
look, on the shelves around me, on my desk and shelves and all my bits of stuff, and I've got probably about 30 crystals scattered around the room.
Right.
There's all different types of crystals, and there's all different bits and pieces that I've got. Deb, give me some. Is it 3 packs of tarot cards as well?
I did. Well, like oracle cards, angel cards. Yeah.
So I'll do what I get into it a bit more, but it's finding the time to do it. So I don't want to start doing something and just have a couple of hours a week to do it. I want to be able to get in it and go into it like feet first sort of thing.
Yeah.
I really go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I want to dive straight into it and keep at it rather than keep slacking and having to keep going back to it.
Right. Well, ideally, you may want to ask yourself, what do you want from it?
Yeah.
And then go from there.
Yeah.
You know, ideally, that if you have a direction, then it should be all downhill from there, you know? Or uphill. I don't know.
Uphill.
Yeah. Get the hell. Sorry about that.
Mine look downhill. Yeah, I know what I want from it, so I've got a direction where I want to go. So,
all right, well, there you go. I mean, you know, some people, again, if they really believe in crystals, then crystals is the route to go for them. If they believe in you know, candles, you know, it's just, for me, the candle worked because I can feel it. You know, it's just something that kind of sparked whatever, you know, whatever inside of me that really made me feel that this is part of what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it just clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just another quick one. I don't
Yeah.
know if this is Wiccan. I've started using a pendulum, and that's working really well. I don't know. Is that part of it?
Yeah.
I'm not that clued up on this kind of stuff, so
Yeah.
questions might seem daft, but I just
No,
I
it's.
don't wanna- I
I
don't.
was really hoping you would talk about that because
Yeah.
remember when I was a kid and I did that card thing? Well, I
Yeah.
also had. I was in a room. I call it my bedroom. I don't know why I called it a room. It's my bedroom, and there was like a little desk there. And in the '70s, we had like these pull chains,
Yeah.
for the light, right?
Yeah.
And mine kind of hung down like so, and I'd always like hold on to it and then try to make it move, mentally,
Yeah.
So that was just like, a start for me, I suppose. But I always thought that that would be something that is, I think nowadays I can really make it work in my advantage, towards
Yeah.
my advantage. But for me, it started way back then.
Yeah.
So, do pendulums, is there any truth to them? Possibly, if you don't move your hand,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
you know,
I've,
um,
I've I've done different ways of holding it, and there's a way that it works. And I did it. Was it last week we did it? I did it
Week
on
before.
week before. Did it with the
Last
camera
week.
pointing at it. It kind of worked, but I think the questions weren't the right type of questions to get answers for.
Yeah.
But when I'm sat here, because I do everything at the desk, and I have the sheets of paper underneath me with the charts and that on, and I close my eyes, and even when it's just me in the room, I'll hold the pendulum, I'll ask the question, I'll ask it out loud. As it's starting, I'll keep asking the question over and over in my head. And then when I open my eyes, it's going to the different letters or the different numbers.
Yeah.
And some things that I've asked, of like the name of whoever the spirit guide is, I've done it 3 times now on 3 separate days, like different times of the day and that, and it's come back with the same name each time.
really?
Yeah. So
What's the name?
Gemo, Jemo.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an abbreviation or
Or a nickname, maybe.
nickname. Yeah, I don't.
Maybe
I've
at a
no
bar
idea.
one day and you come in, some guy named Jimmo comes up to you,
Yeah.
Well,
And
could
you'll
be.
know.
or
Yeah.
maybe a girl. Who knows? I don't
So
know. It could be anything.
yeah,
That's
No,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So,
cool. I
yeah,
mean, to get it that consistently,
Oh,
you may be
yeah.
onto something.
So
Yeah.
in fact, when you have something that the answer could be, suppose multiple choice, it just doesn't move. It feels like it's being pulled down. It's like I can feel the force pulling it. And I've not told anyone yet. I was speaking to Deb about it the other day. When I hold it, I even try and make it swing in a different direction, and I can feel like a force stopping me doing it and pulling it to where it wants to go, not
Wow,
where I want it to go.
that's very
That
cool.
yeah, I get goosebumps when I
See,
say that.
well, you see, you're Wiccan at heart. You had it within you all this time. Now
I
it's
know.
slowly releasing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to also say you can also try just putting it on a tripod or something.
Well,
So you're not touching
that's what I was going to
and
do
see
over
if
the
you can make
weekend.
it work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was under the impression that there's an energy in me that's making it do what it does, but it's not me doing it. If that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from it.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, I've got a tripod off my old setup that I'm going to try. So I'll probably think I'm going to do that tomorrow during the day while the missus is at work, so I don't freak everyone out.
Yeah. Don't be freaking everyone out.
And if it does go off, I'll just go and
around,
sit in my car
kill
outside.
neighbors or something. No. Throw that in trash.
I'll just go and sit outside until it's time to pick her up, and then just go in as though nothing's happened.
Yeah.
No, I think I don't feel anything bad coming from it. So
No.
it's all good. It's all good energy.
That's good. That's good. That sounds cool.
Cool.
Right, next question.
Yeah, cool.
From Tina. Hello, Shawn. Can grimoires be dangerous in the hands of someone who's not experienced?
No. I don't think so. I mean, if you have no experience, what can you do? You're just
Well,
reading words, right?
yeah, reading a book, innit, I suppose.
Just basically that's it. It's not like in the movies where they find this, ancient tomb and they, blow the dust off of it, and then all these
Yeah.
magical Latin words are gonna, have something arrive from the dead or whatever. That's just no. I don't think anybody can get hurt or
A lot of
anything.
witches make their own grimoires up anyway, don't they? It's
That's true too.
yeah,
And I've seen I've seen them write in certain ways, and I'm like, well, what is this? What language is this in? Are you speaking Spanish, or are you,
yeah,
is this English? I mean, I could translate it, I can write it all down, but what language is it? What are you using?
Yeah.
And they don't like getting back to me on that. I guess I don't know. I asked too many questions, I suppose.
it's always good to ask questions.
It is.
Yeah.
Is there another one?
Yes.
There's a few.
You ready?
I really like this. I enjoy this a lot. I'm
Good.
sorry, it's your show. It's not my show.
No,
No, you're the guest.
Tonight it's all yours.
Yeah.
So, from Lorraine Groves, what's your
What's
take on the Wiccan? Is it Reedy?
Read.
Yeah.
Read.
Yeah, I think, well, that was actually developed by Aleister Crowley. So,
Yeah.
I think it's fine. Don't harm people, just practice what you want to practice. That's it.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. I
No.
think that's very novel. It's to the point. Don't love thy neighbor, and then you get 10 more commandments. Just do this. It's to the point.
Yes.
So I really, I think it's again to the point, and a lot is, I'll say it again, to the point. I really don't know what else to say about it. It's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Next question from Warren Hardcastle. How high does Shawn rate Gettysburg in regard to the number of experiences he's had?
Well, I don't count. I had a lot of experiences, but Gettysburg, I haven't been there yet.
Right.
I have a lot of friends who have gone there.
Yeah.
And I think I always wanted to just like sit in a field and camp out. I've seen some amazing stuff there, but I've seen amazing stuff here too, on Long Island.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can go to your backyard and find things.
You can, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, they're everywhere. You don't have to go. Although years ago, me and a bunch of other guys, we put together this reality show. It almost got picked up by MTV. It was close, and except for the executive said, "Nah, it's just another ghost show." And I was like, "But you have a ghost show? It's with Gary Busey. I mean, God, what were you thinking? You need real people there." But anyway.
Proper people.
What?
Proper people.
Yeah, proper people. Exactly. So anyhow, it was called Battlefield Ghosts. Battlefield Ghosts: Answers from Beyond.
Ooh,
And we were asking things like about is there any way you could have changed the war? Those questions were actually a little too much to get answers back from them. But I did, the war started out here. The Revolutionary War started out here in New York, in a place called Prospect Park. And I had asked the question, did you know George Washington?
Yeah.
And somebody had said, I really like the general. So, that's pretty clear to me. I said nothing about a general or anything.
No.
And, I got back an EVP that said, I really like the general.
wow.
Right.
It's an amazing place, Prospect Park. I mean, God, that place is haunted, and people go through it every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joey said like you do the EVP. Do you use digital or analog when you're doing the recordings?
I use whatever my camera picks up, because I don't walk around with. I used to, but I don't. I don't anymore.
Yeah.
I don't feel that I need to. I get just as much information from my camera, our camera,
Yeah.
and but I also have another camera. I have a much better camera than that
Yeah.
to go out and do that. But it's not a night vision camera.
No.
But it does pick up a lot of sound, and it does pick up the whispers and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, whatever that audio is, I take it and I put it into an audio editing program, and that's where I work it. I turn it up, slow it down if I need to, get rid of the background noise, and just really clean it up. And sometimes it's garbage. It's like a class C, but I can hear it. Whatever it is. But if I played it for you, you would say, I don't really hear it. Or you don't hear what I heard. And you get into a zone when you're listening to that for a long time, and you can pick up on a lot of things. And that's why I think what's so brilliant about it is that you can hear these things, and you're actually making contact with the other side, and you're learning from them. There is such thing as death, but everybody's so focused on heaven and things like that. Well, it's right here. It's in our backyard. It's part of our life.
Yes.
Everywhere.
So, maybe heaven is here on earth. Maybe we should focus on that.
That leads us on to the question about why we don't see ghosts. What were you talking about before the break?
Yeah. So neuroscience. Well, let's backtrack a little bit. Well, you know what? I'll just pick up at neuroscience. Neuroscience says that, and they put little gadgets on your head and have people test people and have them go out and do their daily chores and whatever, and they measure the brain waves and whatnot, and they found out that every second you have 4 million bits of information going in to your head. Your brain is activating, taking in 4 million bits of information, but we only perceive 40. So what does that say? Is that our brain is actually dictating the world around us. There's also a test where you take a white sheet and you put a little dot on it, and the closer you put it to your face, the dot disappears. And the reason why is because your brain is saying, well, we don't need that dot anymore. We just see the white paper. Another example is, and I think this is a great example. I heard this when I was a little kid and it didn't mean anything to me then, but now when it came up again, I said, wow, I remember that back then. When Columbus came to America, the indigenous people here only saw men in rowboats coming to the shore. They didn't see the big ships because they've never seen a big ship before, right? So that's why they couldn't see it. And that's what made it so impressive, that this is, neuroscience. Years later, neuroscience is proving this. And this is probably why we don't see ghosts. Probably also when you close your eyes, and as practicing as a psychic medium, you close your eyes and your brain is constantly, giving you all these random images and whatnot, right? And so you meditate and you try to calm that down, and that's how when you do, I've had meditation sessions where I could see like this. It looked like a fog around me, or everywhere. not just around me, but everywhere. It's like a fog. And then you can see, things in it, and I believe this is their spirits. I did see a ghost, or I saw somebody walk up to me.
Yeah.
And through this fog. And it's funny, Mary J. Blige, you know her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She got off of alcohol and drugs and all that because she was laying in bed and she saw something very similar to that. Nobody walked up to her, but she saw this plane, this fog. And I just wish there was a way, either through light or some means that we could, duplicate this and turn it on. And that way, I think this would be like our most physical connection to, the other side.
Yeah.
But again, it's the reason why we can't see anything is because our brain tells us not to. There's also why we see things on the side of our eyes. The cones in our eyes are much bigger in the back than they are in the front. And our eyes are actually designed to pick up images, or not images, but black and white images on the sides of your eyes.
Peripheral vision.
Peripheral vision. And that's for, predatory and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's why we always see like something white or something dark pass by. And it's not directly in front of us. But because we're not on hiatus over here, but we are here.
Yeah.
So I feel that, that's why we don't see ghosts. But a norm, ghosts do like pop up, but on a normal day, I truly believe they're all around us, and we, our brain's saying, no, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, So I actually have a ghost story I can tell you if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I guess that's why I'm here. Anyway, my daughter, when she was a little girl, when she was a baby, she was sitting right over here. And I was over there on my computer. And my kitchen is just right here behind this black screen.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she started screaming, and she was screaming like, like somebody chopped off her arms and legs and whatnot. I mean, she's really like shrieking.
Yeah.
And I realized, oh yeah, I forgot to feed you. So I went over there and I made her a bottle, and I stuck in the microwave, and I, warmed it up.
Yeah.
And she's screaming. It's not stopping. And I'm like, God, just give it a minute. It takes a minute. And I take it out, I'm shaking it, and then she stopped. She stopped screaming.
Right.
I was like, good. I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna find out. Maybe she just like gave up.
Yeah.
I turned the corner, and no joke, her she had a stuffed elephant, and it was floating like this, right in front of her. No strings, nothing. It was floating. And she slowly just reached up and took it like that.
Wow.
And that's not the point of this story. Really isn't the ghost part. It's the mental part, because I struggled so hard with my brain that my brain was saying, oh, it's got strings. Oh, it's not what you think it is. It's something else. Don't pay attention to it. It's not what you think. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I saw that thing floating in the middle of the air, and you're telling me otherwise. And so this is part of what I was saying before, where your brain is dictating the world around us.
Yeah.
So, I think that's actually a very good example of it.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing that up. That was a great question.
Well, thanks for telling us.
Amazing.
Right. Next question is from Umbra again. What is the most used Wiccan practice you use, and why?
Mentalism.
Yeah.
Mentalism, and again, the the counting. Well, okay, I'll tell you why. Not just the counting. I have this trick that I do in my head where I ask things like, how's this interview going to go?
Yeah.
For example.
Okay.
And on one side, it says yes, and one side it says no. But the side that comes to me, and I can feel it, like as if I had my hand like right here on my toward next to my face. When I feel that, that's when this happened to be yes.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough that it worked out.
Yeah.
And but I've also used it for job interviews or auditions or anything in the world, and it's 90% been correct.
Yeah.
So that's what I use, the yes and no. You don't have to do that, but mentalism is something that I really rely a lot on, and spiritual guides. I had what I felt was my spiritual guides, what I still believe are my spiritual guides. First, you got to find them, and then once you've developed that, I personally don't believe that anybody can tell you who your spiritual guides are.
No.
I think only you can relate to that and be able to connect with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had this relationship with them where, now here I'm contradicting myself, where I said, if a butterfly falls on your hat or stops on your hat, it's your grandmother. But they were leaving me things like feathers. I felt that a white one was for one of them and a brown one was for the other one.
Yeah.
And I would feel poking like this on my back, and I would feel that like all the time. And not all the time, but you know what I mean? Like every now and every day
it was constant
of them and I need their assistance or whatever like that. And I felt that this was, that was them.
Yeah.
So definitely I felt them. And one time I thought I was going to get into trouble. I was at work and I took cash out of the register and I had put it in my pocket and I was going to the bank and I had forgotten and my district manager came in and he counted the drawer. And I had forgotten that I had it in there. I went to the bathroom and I was like, okay, I'm going to go, to the bank. And he's like, what are you going to the bank for? Wait a minute. You're like $80 short. And I said, no, I'm not. Wait, I have it right here. And it seemed like I was stealing it. I felt that way. I mean, it wasn't, but it felt that way.
Yeah.
And I'm like shaking like a leaf. And he this is around Christmas time. And he told me to go to another unit, another cafeteria, and drive over there and pick up some poinsettias so we can decorate our cafeteria. I was like, sure. And on the way there, I'm like, oh my God, he thinks I'm stealing, and I'm really sweating it.
Yeah.
And he ended up, and I kept hearing in my head, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Big signs, okay, or yes, things, huge signs. And when I get that, those are good signs. Those are really good signs. In fact, not too long ago, I had a heart condition. I was asking, please, are they going to like break open my chest or anything? And it was like, no, you're okay. That kind of, so it's a good friend, whoever it is or whatever it is. It's a good friend.
Yeah.
So,
I'd go with that.
Yeah.
Right. Another question from.
Just a quick one before you do that one. So when you ask questions, do you ever get times where you don't get a response from what you've asked it?
No,
you always get a reply.
Yeah. It's part of the makeup, well, let me think about this for a second before if I don't get a response, then there's something wrong.
Right.
It's either a no-go or something,
Right.
So I would put that on the no side. Definitely not a yes. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, totally get that.
Mm.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
Right. Next question from Joe. Is there any part of Wicca that Shawn doesn't believe in?
Wicca envy. I wish everybody would just get along, you know. I wish we could all be on the same page.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that kind of pushes me away from it is the negative side of it. And you know, I don't feel that I need to practice any other way than the way I do because it works for me.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's an open forum of what you want to do and what you know how you want to practice it. So that's really the only downside to it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're really super nice people. You know, outside of that, they're really great people to be around, and they're great influences. You know, people are really super sweet. So I like that. I like that a lot. You know, you meet a lot of negative people who don't practice. So you know, I think the practice itself brings something better into people. So but except for the envy, you know.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about that.
Cool.
Thank you.
Right. Next question.
I can't believe it.
Right, next question is from Umbra again. So, do you ascribe to animism with his belief system? If so, how does he use this in his practice?
1 second. I gotta look up animism. I don't know what the heck that is.
Yeah, I was going to do that, but I'll let you do it.
Are we
even say
talking
it.
about totems?
I'm not sure, actually.
All right, give me a second. Let me look this up. I'm sorry.
You're all right.
Am I messing with Wiccan now because I don't know what it is?
It's fine. You got plenty of time.
Oh, you found it?
The attribution of a living soul to plants, inanimate objects, and natural phenomena, or the belief in a supernatural power that organizes and animates the material universe.
It's all coming back to me now. Yes. Yeah. I do believe, like, you know, I do hug trees and things like that from time to time. You know, I do believe it's a life source.
Yeah.
I do walk in the woods and you know, take it all in. So, you know, in the ocean, you know, there really is. I mean, there's so much kinetic energy within the ocean and the beach. You know, on a foggy day, I swear to God, I see people walking past me. But it's just, and other things. Just real quick, I used to surf and boogie board a lot in California, and sometimes a wave would crash, and you can hear somebody scream help, or maybe just a yell. You know, just a sound. I don't know if it's the waves or if it's just some trick to my ears, but you know, it's whatever it is. It's there is a lot of that would apply to that. You know, so would I believe in it? Do I believe in it? Yeah, of course. There's energy all around us. So yeah.
Excellent.
You know, I don't know how to draw it in, to be honest with you.
No.
I just enjoy it. So
yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Next question's from Umbraman. What does Shawn know about the mound builders over there, particularly around Ohio, etc.?
Mound builders. I don't really know what the mound builders are.
Well, I was thinking when I read that burial mounds, or
I
don't know.
They say that with the giants, if that's what he's thinking, the giant burial mounds.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. What do I think about it? I don't have much thought on it because I never really, you know, I'm not really a cryptic kind of guy. But I did have a Bigfoot experience if you want to hear it.
Yes, please.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, don't ask.
So let's pass on this question and move on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Honestly, I really don't know much about that.
That's fine.
I don't look for that kind of thing. But one time I was with my buddy, and there's a lean-to out in the Adirondacks that he always goes to.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what a lean-to is, it's like a hut, and it comes out like it comes out like so, and then you have a campfire here, and then the heat goes in here, but the smoke stays over there.
Yeah.
And so one night when we were doing this, when we were camping overnight, it was probably like 3 a.m. It was really, really late. And I can hear there's a campground, like maybe, I don't know, football field away over in that direction.
Yeah.
A few, 100 yards or so. And I said, it's such a beautiful night. I'm going to like stick my head this way and look up at the stars. And that's what I was doing. I was really appreciating, like, again, I was sucking it in.
Yeah.
And I heard something coming. Now I can't see anything because, when you're next to the fire, everything else is like, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
No.
And I heard something, and it was pounding. It was really like shaking the ground. And I thought it was a moose.
Yeah.
But there's no moose over there. I mean, that's like Canada or something. It's further north.
Yeah.
And but whatever it was huge. And it stopped. And I don't see anything again, And then all of a sudden, and I was like, I turned around and I went back into the lean-to. And my buddy, and I was like, dude, did you hear that? And he's holding like his walking stick, like this little fiberglass walking stick. And I'm like,
I'll defend you.
He said, of course I heard that. I said, oh my God. And then you can hear it like walking away, going towards the lake that was down there.
Yeah.
So he had, I'm assuming it was Bigfoot,
Yeah.
I just can't wrap my head around anything else in the world that could have been, because that thing was enormous.
Yeah.
And the scream was enormous. Nothing that you've ever heard before. And
I'm
oddly
assuming,
enough, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm assuming it sounded bipedal. It was on 2 feet rather than like. Yeah. Sorry, go on. Yeah.
And on the way up there that day, we were. I had stepped too close to like this tree that had its roots up, but it wasn't flipped over. It just like it had a hole underneath its roots underneath the tree.
Yeah.
I got too close to it and something growled at me. Now my friend said it was a badger, and I said, man, maybe from hell. I mean, this thing was very, very guttural. And it just like vibrated, in the sound vibrated. And I said, man, this is really like something either very big or very small that is trying to be larger. That's what I thought it was. And I truly believe in those forest trolls or whatever they are, those little guys. So whatever that happened twice. That happened on the way up and on the way back, and in between was Bigfoot.
Wow.
So that was quite a day. That.
I can imagine.
But it's kind of weird. I hate to be the guy that has all these amazing experiences, but it really did happen.
Yeah, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just gutted that I don't get anything like that.
Well, you gotta get out in the woods more.
Just get a little baby rabbit, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's as good as it's got, I reckon, so far.
Yeah.
As it comes to creatures. So anyway, next question.
Next question from Warren. What is Shawn's theory on shadow people? Does he see a link between all genres?
All right, shadow people. Great question. I'll tell you about one of my experiences here, and then we'll go into what I think about it. So one thing about ghosts that's very apparent with them is that they do absorb light. They
Yeah.
absorb a lot of light, and I always know that they're around because the place gets dark.
Yeah.
And when my daughter was a little girl, a baby still, and of course this coincided with the time where the floating elephant and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it was nighttime, and I always felt very uneasy here for some reason, because the place was, the living room, this area here, got very, very dark, and it would get like pitch black. And I said, man, there is something out there. And I would hear, as I started towards my bedroom, which is, I don't know how to do this, over there.
There.
And I would hear this, like the stomping coming towards me. So I would duck into my bedroom and I'd close the door and whatever. But this one time I didn't. And I looked back, and there was a shadow person there.
Yeah.
And this guy, I can't tell you how much what goes through your head. You can see every detail of their face.
Yeah.
But as like a negative, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can the guy looked into my eyes, and you could see like his eyes moving, and it's like, wow. And I duck back and I comfort my daughter. Actually, I'm the one who needed the comforting. And and this thing just like shot into my room, my son's room, and he was asleep in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'll look in a minute.
Yeah.
If I hear a scream, I'll barge in, but
Yeah.
otherwise I'll let this ride, And I just leaned out the door. I said, that was a good one, guys, and it was. It was really a good one. So later I did an EVP on that, and I found out a little bit more about who that was.
All right. Okay.
And it didn't happen again after that, but something creepier did. But we'll talk about the shadow people now. So I have seen one of my first investigations with Paranormal Site, my group at the time, was this place called the Hanging Tree. And I went there, and what had happened is somebody had committed, well, actually, it has a backstory of a witch that was prosecuted and hung there. But in reality, it was a guy who lived across the street, and he was heavily into drugs. And he was very depressed. He was an older guy, and he went and he hung himself in that neck of the woods.
Yeah.
It's a very pretty place. It's got river and stuff going through it and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I was there with my son, and he didn't walk at the time, so I had to drag his little stroller through it. And I'm looking around, and I see like the shadow kind of peeking out from behind a tree, like doing this kind of thing. I'm like, what the heck is that? And then we made eye contact, like, when you look in somebody's eyes and like they're uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
You have that shock feeling. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And then all of a sudden it went, and then shot off. The bushes moved and things like that over there, but there was like a little cloud of black stuff, it just kind of dissipated right there.
Yeah.
So now let's look at electromagnetic field. Now, if you were to take a magnet and you go out and you're in the lawn outside or whatever, you rub it through some dirt, you'll get all sorts of like or iron and all sorts of
Yeah.
deposits and stuff.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lot of dirt that will stick to the magnet, right, if it's strong enough. So I feel that shadow people are actually absorbing just matter that's around, and it's collecting on them as they're, transforming into, a shape.
Yeah.
And, it could be from the energy that helps them do this. I don't believe any ghost in the world on command can appear in front of you. I think they do it all subconsciously.
Yeah.
Like when they're looking at you from a distance or happen to be standing in front of you, they probably don't know that that you can see them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I feel that, when it comes to shadow people, that's definitely, what I feel is. It's not like a fraction of light or something like that. I don't think it's anything.
Yeah.
I think it's just matter that collects on them. Because the inside was white. Everything was,
Right.
like an Oreo cookie,
Yeah. Yeah.
They were dark on the outside, but on the inside it was all white. But I've seen it the other way around too. So
Right.
So what? Sorry. So what do you think they are?
what do I think? I think they're people. I think they're ghosts. I
Right.
think it's, they're just, I don't think they're aware of what they're doing.
Yeah.
I just think that, they show up in that form, it's just yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen, and that's another thing, that's, this field is so difficult, like once you really feel that you got it figured out, something comes up and you're like re-questioning everything again.
Yeah.
Like, you see shadows. I remember I was playing with one once and I said, wait a minute, I got to go to my car. They were turning the light on and off.
Yeah.
And I knew they were there because the whole area was dark. And I walked towards my car, and it was like the movie The Blob. You see this black shadow just going across the grass and stuff, following me to the car. And it's kind of cool because you're really like communing with somebody. And I feel that they, are very happy about that too, because it's got to suck to exist and nobody can see you.
Yeah. Frustrating.
So what?
I just think it's quite frustrating.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's got to be, right?
Yeah.
So but what I'm really curious about the light though. I wonder why everything that they're able, is it really that they're absorbing matter, or are they really clouding up the light? I don't know. I was in one house. We did, Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Not now.
All right.
Sorry about that. So I was in this house. It was a former preschool, and they still had some of the chairs upstairs. And it's funny, when I first went there, I brought my recorder, and I kept hearing somebody like talking, but it was muffled. It was just like, blah, 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 and that's all I heard.
Yeah.
And I thought that maybe, it's just noise pollution from the neighbors or whatever. So the windows were very thin, it was just one sheet of window. They weren't updated or anything. So I figured that's all it was. And that's why I didn't hear it very well. And so I decided I was going to leave my recorder there overnight. And there's a story behind it. Apparently one of the teachers had passed away, like had a massive heart attack and died in one of the rooms.
Right.
And so I put this recorder in that room.
Yeah.
And I went back to get it, and I listened to it. And oddly enough, well, I think it's crazy, but I don't know. It's on the recording, there was breathing. I mean, if you're dead, you don't really need to breathe, right?
Oh, not really, no.
So I just thought it was like crazy and there's nobody else in that house. And so I said, well, the real estate lady, she said, she was a friend of mine. She said, you can go in there and do an investigation if you want.
Yeah.
Like, cool. So me and my buddy went in there, and we went into her room. We had that same camera that you have pointed at us in the hallway. And there were other rooms up there, and all the rooms had themes. Like they had a jungle theme and stuff like that. And they had what I call the rubber room because they have mats all over the floor.
Right, yeah.
And we're sitting there, we're asking questions. Nothing's really happening. And then all of a sudden, I noticed the camera like flickering, like it's like a strobe. And I said, oh, this is really strange. Why is it doing that? And I said, Steve, you see this too, right? And he's like, yeah, I don't know why. And all of a sudden, one of the chairs in the hallway picks up, or I'm assuming it picked up, and it was slammed like 3 times, really loud. Just, pow, pow, pow. And I said, okay, you heard that, right? And he says, yeah. And I said, well, all right, that was really good. Steve, go over there and find out what that noise is. And he didn't want to go, so I went. And I checked my camera. My camera was off.
Yeah.
And I looked at the jungle room that was adjacent to it. And from the floor up, it just went black. And the street light was coming through the window in the front. So it illuminated the room, but it just started filling the whole room black.
Oh,
wow. Go over to the jungle room and see if you see anything, but he didn't do that either. And I was like, so I walked over there and I took a look around, and it's dark, but I don't really see anything, of importance. But so I walk out of there and we're talking, and all of a sudden from downstairs, I hear the the talking, the chattering. And I can't understand what she's saying, but there's nobody else in the house. And I'm like, wait a minute. And we're standing by the stairs and we're talking to her. They're like, well, listen, we're not trying to hurt you or anything. It's okay. You can, we're just trying to communicate with you, blah, blah, blah. That. And she just keeps talking and talking and talking. And I thought, wow, this is crazy. After the investigation, I started thinking about it more. And I went back another day and I said, I hear the voice coming from this area here, which was the kitchen.
Yeah.
And they had an older refrigerator. And with that older refrigerator, I used the EMF detector, and where I was standing, which was probably maybe a foot away from it, or a few feet away from it, it was lighting it up. So it was really pumping out some EMF fields, electromagnetic fields. So I think what she was doing is standing next to the refrigerator and absorbing all that energy, so she can turn around in turn to be able to speak to people.
Yeah.
And I just think that's awesome. I really like, and this is where the witchcraft part of me is like, oh, I wonder how they did that. Really, you really want to know, I mean, that's amazing. How are they capable of doing that? And what's up with the other guys? Why can't they do it? I guess it's all, like the chi energy, the strength of it and the attitude and building up that emotion is what can help you when you don't have a body.
Yeah.
You don't have a body. Just be angry. Yeah. Be angry all the time. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Right. Umbraman wants to know, Shawn ever been to Sedona to see if he can experience the portals and energy shifts?
No, I haven't.
You're going to have to get a list going.
I don't know.
I don't know where it's
bucket list.
But when I get a show, that will be one of the first places I go to. But I don't know how I'll ever get a show. But it sounds pretty cool, but I don't know anything about it. But I would like to talk about portals if you want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. If you've got time, we'll listen.
Yeah.
As a real estate agent, well, I'll just tell you this one when I was a real estate agent. I've seen it before. There, I see. I don't like to call them portals. I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
But there is there. I had this client, and they're a little over the top.
Right.
And we went to this guy. He was an ex-cop. He got injured, and he was selling his house. He wants to move to Florida because it's cheaper down there, and he wants to retire down there with his pension. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So this guy, my over-the-top client, is talking to him, and he's, at one point he's like, and God brings us to where we are, and God is good, and this and that. I'm like, oh, jeez. I was kind of embarrassed, and I looked over at his wife, and his wife is just like, and I'm like, oh no. And I just looked over at her, and I saw her doing that, and then I noticed there was a man standing right behind her. He was an etheric man, transparent man. He was very thin, very shallow-looking eyes, and disheveled. And he's standing there, and he's totally like he's not even here. He's looking through the world. He's like at the like they say in Nam, that mile-long stare.
Yeah.
And he just walks. He walks like, I need illustration here. So he walks, and there's like this invisible wall that he just walks behind, just like that. It's like, and he's gone. And I saw that another time where this friend of my wife's, her husband had died. He died on his birthday, out of all the days. And he got hit by a car. And I was kind of devastated. I didn't really know the guy, but he was a real maniac. He was always getting into trouble and stuff.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I see in one of my window panes somebody looking in, like just a small head, just looking in like this. And he had that mile-long stare. And then he just kind of does this and disappears, into this like line, what some people would call a portal. And I was like, wow, and I thought it was just a paranormal experience. I didn't think much of it. And then the next day, or maybe 2 days later, we got in the mail one of those, memorial things, with his picture on.
Yeah.
And I said, holy cow, that's him. That was him all this time. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. Should I put the light on? I look like I'm kind of dark.
No, you don't. You're not too bad.
What, is it all right? Is it?
Yeah.
The atmosphere. Is it raining over there?
Not where I am.
No, stop now.
Oh, it's raining here. You brought it over here.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
It was the power of the mind.
I know. I'm drawing it over.
Yeah.
You're bringing it over.
Right. We've got about 10 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
It's all right. We've only got a few more questions. So, because we didn't start straight away anyway.
No.
So, right.
Sorry.
Next question from Umbra. Is the only Umbra asking questions tonight?
No, there is a few more.
Well, thank you.
Just checking.
Thank you, Umbra.
Who or what is a main entity that Shawn interacts with?
Oh. I guess this is a practitioner or Wiccan question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the god and the goddess, and the moon goddess, and the sun god, and 4 elementals, my spiritual guides, and the earth. That's all of them, all in one big old prayer.
Yay.
Ooh. Excellent. Oh, he's froze.
It was froze. Oh,
Shawn.
Shawn's frozen. Right.
Oh. I'll ask you then, Deb.
Ask me. What are you asking me?
Where in the world would Shawn like to visit? I.e. Wicca.
I have no idea. I don't know if there's a Wiccan Mecca, to be honest.
Gettysburg?
No.
Don't know. Stardust Ranch.
No. That's overtaken Skinwalker Ranch now, isn't it?
Of course.
Just let us.
Yeah. Are you going to see if you can get him back on?
Oh, he's gone. Right, he might come back on.
Yeah. Oh, if not.
So, anyway, people, just a reminder, if you want to meet us on the 11th of June at Sherwood Forest, then please send the off the website.
By 2 o'clock tomorrow.
What?
No, I'm changing it to 2 o'clock tomorrow. Is the last? Yeah, because it's Monday and I'm busy Monday.
Right, okay.
You don't ask, just go with it.
Okay.
So, Salem, I've been to Salem.
Not Monday then.
Not Monday.
Tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Tomorrow at 2 is your last chance. We've had a couple more people saying they're coming, so up to now there's about, I think there's about, including us two, there's
3.
No, there's about, I think there's about 10 or 12.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we need to know by 2 o'clock because then we need to find somewhere where we're going to go.
Yeah.
And then we've got to send all the emails out. So, yeah, that's it. Sorry to Joe, Lorraine, and Nickname. We didn't get to ask Shawn.
But we will be having him on again.
Definitely. We'll probably
So
do, I think we should do, well, yeah, 100%. We'll do a Wednesday evening, I think.
Yeah. We'll take notes. We'll take notes of the questions and then we can pop them on for next time.
In fact, bear with me. I'm going to take a photo.
Take a photo.
Oh, that's a bit close.
Jeez.
Not a view of the 3 questions.
Okay.
Nice try, though.
I'm quite photogenic.
Yeah. But this Wednesday, where am I going, Deb?
On Wednesday.
Don't say to work.
To work.
And then...
That forest where I thought there were a river running through the middle of it, it was a road.
The road river. Yeah, so we're going back. Hopefully it's not going to be raining. And if it is raining, I've actually got some tarpaulin and sticks and what have you. So we can build a shelter. And I've got 3 rig setups now, so it's all good.
Yes.
So, so we're going back there.
I flagged your question as well, Lorraine. I've bobbed that in, so we'll... Oh. Andy's going to have to take another picture now.
Oh, for God's sake, people. Right, done.
Done.
Yeah, so what I was going to say... It's gone. I'm gutted he's gone.
I don't know. It's always gone, Andy. It never stays in your head for 2 seconds.
No, I said I'm gutted Shawn's gone.
Oh, right. Sorry. I thought you meant whatever you were thinking about had gone.
No, it could be anything. Probably do with food or...
Food, definitely.
Not working. Anything like that.
But I was going to say something else and I've forgotten who it was. Who it was.
Who's on next week?
Steve Mera.
You wrote it down in big neon lights, haven't you?
I haven't. I've actually remembered.
He was on week after.
No, that's not fair because we're not on the week after yet. Yeah. It'll be somebody, I'll tell you now.
Really? Do you reckon it's a person?
Possibly. Oh, Shawn's back.
Yeah.
Just as we're going to say goodbye.
Oh, there's nobody on. Sorry, we'll just bring you back on.
Oh.
Sorry. Right. Don't know what happened then. Just 1 second before you carry on. So, next week we've got Steve Mera.
Yes.
The week after that is nothing because that's the
Jubilee weekend.
So I'm away for a couple of days.
Yeah.
But Wednesday, the 1st of June, we have a guy called Michael Kopf coming on.
Yep.
Now, he's a paranormal investigator from somewhere in America, I think.
That could be anywhere then.
I know. Without looking at the messages, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, that's on the Wednesday because we're not doing one on the Friday.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Right.
So, sorry. Let's travel back. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, sorry about that. Don't know what happened. We tried to get you on and then you went and... It just,
No, I'm giving away too many secrets.
Yeah, you were removed.
they're onto you.
They are.
Yeah.
Shut them down.
Yeah, I think we're going to bring this to an end. There are some more questions. I am gutted that we can't do them, but everyone, and I mean everyone, is asking for you to come back on. I want you to come back on anyway.
Oh,
We've
that's
been in
awesome.
touch.
Thank you so
We've
much.
been in touch quite a lot. The only thing, it'd have to be a Wednesday, unless you want to come back on in September. So it's entirely up to you.
I can do any time. I actually even called off a doctor's appointment today just to
Oh,
be here with
Deborah.
you. It meant that much to me. Dang it.
Sorry, Deborah's fault.
Oh, it'd be my fault. It's always my
I'm not
fault.
going to blame me, am I?
Not
Usually
really.
the other way around.
Yeah. No,
Anyway,
yeah. So
we've taken note of the questions that haven't been asked, so we can ask you those next time.
Yeah. So what I'll do? Are you busy tomorrow, Shawn?
I can find time for you if you need.
Right. What I'll do, I'll message you tomorrow with a couple of dates and what's going to work for you, and we'll go from there. So if we get you back on in a couple of weeks, and we just do a part 2 of this.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
Is there one thing I can do before we leave?
Yes.
I would like to know if I were to start a YouTube channel for the developing your practitioner, whatever.
Yep.
What would make it? What would be a compelling name? What would be a good name for that?
Ooh.
I
I'd have to think about that.
I ask everybody out there, what do you guys think? So that way I know you'll show up. At least
Yeah, we'll definitely show up.
people. No,
The Wiccan Warrior.
The
Oh,
Wiccan
yeah.
Warrior. Wow.
I'm good with doing names, aren't I? It's just
you are.
it's the only thing I'm good at.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, cheeky get.
Okay.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
All right. Wiccan Warrior it is. That's it.
Wiccan Warrior.
Thank you. So it's been great having you on. Sorry we lost you for a bit then.
That's fine. Thank you.
We're just over the 2-hour mark now, so
yeah.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, no, it's not that. We try and keep it to 2 hours because then after that YouTube it takes forever for it to process.
Yeah.
The longer we do it, the later I stay up because I've got to put it all together and edit it.
And that kind of thing. Yeah.
There you go. You've got a couple of suggestions there. Living Spirits from Lorraine and
I kind of like that.
The Wiccan Way by V.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think whoever said Wiccan Warrior is just
amazing.
That was an amazing. Whoever that guy was should get a medal.
No, he deserves a gold medal.
Give him a medal.
At least a beer.
Yeah. All 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Nicknames just put this up. Shawn of the Dead.
Shawn of the Dead.
Shawn of the Dead. Yeah. There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
Great movie too.
So we'll start out for you coming back on probably a week after next if it's good with you.
Yep. Sounds good.
Yep. Excellent.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
So I'll find some dates and times. It'll still be the same time, but I'll get a couple of dates and we'll get something together. So
very cool, and you got a great audience too. It's just great questions. Stumped me on a few of them. I was like, man, I don't know what that is.
Well, we're not going to know the answers to everything, are we?
Yeah, I know. No, I can only talk about my experiences, and
yep.
I don't want to go overboard with them. I don't want to sound like that guy, but
no.
There are some things I really just need to get off my chest. I mean,
definitely.
Another thing, real quick, is just the reason why I say it is because maybe you or somebody out there who's on here has similar experiences, and and I don't want them to feel that they're alone. So hopefully, there is a connection. So
that's lovely.
Excellent.
How about that? So
that's lovely.
The Wiccan Warrior. Is it Wiccan Warrior or Warrior?
Wiccan Warrior.
Wiccan Warrior.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, like that.
So
I'll work on that.
Right. So massive thank you to Shawn for coming on.
Yes,
thank you to Joe for not doing much in the modded
Everything. Really appreciate it. You made me look great.
I think you did that on your own.
Yeah, I do.
Thank you, everyone in the chat, for coming on as usual. Can't
Yep.
speak now. Amazing
you.
as always. And we will see you on Wednesday.
Yes.
So have a great weekend.
You too.
Don't party too hard. Sean, don't go anywhere just yet.
Okay.
Stay there.
And we're just going to end it, and then, see you all on Wednesday. Have fun and take it easy.
See you
all
there.
soon.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.